Hi there, Rabbi. How are you doing right now?
I'm doing, Joe, and that's our topic. Just do it.
It is. When we first talked about our book project, there was some hesitancy in that we weren't sure you could pull off a book. And I said, no, let's just do it. So that was an episode of me giving you advice, a rare occasion. But it's one that I hear all the time from people who say, oh, I don't know. I don't think I could pull it off, or I'm not sure I can finish a book, or I've started a book, but I don't know where to go.
You're talking about a book, but this applies to a lot of things. I need to go to the gym, but I'm not ready yet uh, because I don't want to go with this body and those other people. There's lots of things that we prevent ourselves from doing that we could very easily do. I'm not talking about becoming an astronaut or summiting Mount Everest, just a lot of activities that we get in our own way because in our mind, we're not ready yet. We just can't seem to. What's going on? Do you have any idea, Joe?
Well, it's, as you say, part embarrassment because you don't want to be seen to be foolish. I know for a long time I went to a gym to do weightlifting where everybody was big and muscle bound and, shoulders like this and waist like this. And the women were all in the leotards and stuff like that. And everybody's bouncing around there. And here was me, and I was a little pudgy, only a little. It was a younger time, and I couldn't lift the weights that everybody else was lifting. And I started out embarrassed. And then I realized, what do they care? They don't know me, and nobody's following home that I can tell. So I just kept lifting. And it's eventually I got up and I was doing the big weights too. And I learned just doing it is the way to go.
And that's, I think that's really important because we become our own, not enemy, that's not the right word. We're blocking ourselves from expressing ourselves. And it's all in here. We wrote a book, we went on Kickstarter. Kickstarter got us kickstarted. Now we'll see what happens. So the book goes to the Library of Congress and sits on a shelf, and that's the end of it. So what? Or makes it to the New York Times bestseller list. Terrific. But unless we do it, it's not going to happen. And the other thing I find is overthinking and over planning. We want to plan something, you want to have steps involved, but often we let our preparation get in the way so it never happens. And we get so bogged down with the prep that we can't enjoy when it does happen because we're not sticking to our imagined schedule or whatever it is we thought we should have. So I think we have to be careful. We want to plan and do it, but we also don't want to do so much planning, trying to stick to the plan that we never do it.
As John Whittier once wrote, for all the sad words of tongue and pen, the saddest are these, what might have been. Because you don't want to get to the end of the road and say, I should have written that book. I should have tried to do painting. I should have, as one of my favorite cartoonists put it, dance the mambo more often. So many people are held up by the thought that they might not succeed. What's so bad about failure? Sometimes you learn a lot more from failing than you do from succeeding.
Joe, the things we're talking about aren't failing like someone's going to die or you're going to lose a limb. We're not, that's different. We want to put that aside. All it would be is I I went to the gym and I couldn't quite do it, but I'm still going. I went on a hike or a walk, but I didn't get as far as I thought I could or I wanted to, but I had a good time. I enjoyed what I did rather than sitting on the sofa thinking about it. So, yeah, these aren't failures that are going to end in nuclear holocaust or in bodily destruction or in the death of an infant. It really is my getting over my own embarrassment, my own thinking it's either not good enough or I can't do it Or, as I mentioned, so over planning that we never get to do it. All these things.
Well, I know I don't plan on it. I just do it every Sunday. I sit down and I talk to you, and we always have a good time, and I always learn something new. Thank you as always.
And one of my patients, and he looked at me and said, I always wanted to get a small bass boat, an outboard, and do some bass fishing. I never did it. And now it's too late. And truly it was, because he was dying. And I hear that often, Joe, that very simple life pleasures that we deny ourselves for lots of spurious reasons. So that's my message, is just do it.